Welcome to the Mounting Block. I'm Oriel.
And I'm Marissa.
We're here to inspire each other and, of course, you, our listeners, as we navigate the wild ride of rediscovering our love for horses while juggling work, kids, businesses, and a million other things.
From tackling fears to finding time in between school drop-offs, spilt snacks, business meetings, and marriage, we're here to share the laughs, the lessons, and the occasional mishap in the saddle.
So grab a coffee, a wine, maybe even a lead rope if you're game, and join us for honest, uninterrupted conversations, a bit of mum life mayhem, and a whole lot of encouragement.
This is a Mounting Block. Let's get a leg over and join us for the ride.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Hi. Hello. So we are very lucky. Obviously, there's three of us today. There's not two of us. We're very lucky to have with us today Fiona Spence. And now, Fiona, you are incredible. You're a leadership coach. You're a confidence coach. You're a mindset coach. Tell us a little bit about what you do and how you do it.
Yeah, in a nutshell.
That's just, what do I do and how do I do it? I help people unlock whatever it is that's holding them back. Because I think generally in life, there's things that stop us from being what we want to be, doing what we want to do. So whatever those things are, my job is to get to the root of those and get rid of them.
And how long have you been doing that?
Oh, ages. My sister, who's younger than me, she tells me that I started coaching when I was about 14, but I said, her, no, darling, that was unsolicited advice. that was not coaching.
But it enabled me to practice on you.
Exactly, right?
I love that. That's so good. And so did you do, what brought you to be a coach? Like, what was your career?
Oh my gosh, I did so much. So I have been, in so many different roles. I worked in corporate and things like that. I started off as a high flyer, doing really well. Then I burnt out, which was an interesting lesson. And if I do something, I like to really commit and I like to do it well. So I didn't just sort of burn out once. I think I burnt out about 3 times.
Oh, wow.
Ended up in a wheelchair. If you're going to do something like that, then you should really
do
commit.
it properly.
You're going to be a burnout
and
person.
you committed.
Really burn out. So I was full of commitment.
Yeah.
But I learned a lot, obviously, along the way. And actually, at the beginning of life, I was a martial artist.
Wow.
So,
discipline.
I loved my martial arts, discipline, resilience. If you get knocked down,
get back
up again. And, there came a point where I was like, wait a minute, martial arts wasn't just about fighting and the physical. It was actually really about the mind. And I realized maybe I wasn't taking enough of that mindset and applying it to the rest of my life. So that's where I started to look at things different, apply it differently, sort of threw myself into learning everything I could about the mind. And so in the end, I guess people kept saying to me, you should coach. And I kept saying, oh, no, like you do. Why would I want to do that? But I was doing it anyway. Yeah. So in the end, I was like, okay.
So make a business out of it.
Yeah,
and help
why
people.
not?
Yeah.
So what is it when people come to you and say, you need to help me get out of my rut or whatever it is, or help me expand my opportunity because I'm stopping myself from doing something? Is there one thing that most people have in common, or are they all very, very individual stories and individual situations that you have to break? Or is it like break's probably the wrong word.
Common theme.
Yeah.
Yes to both, actually. So everyone's unique. Like everyone's unique in their, they all have their own reasons for why they are the way they are. And yet underneath it, there's this common theme. And it's always to do with the mindset. It's to do with the stories that they're telling themselves. It's to do with the feelings and the emotions that they are holding on to. And there's often fear underlying that. And so often there's a little bit of an issue around self-belief, self-worth. Am I good enough? What do I deserve? So I found that those kind of often underlie what people present with, and they come with similar themes. Sometimes a lot of people will use the word stuck. So much I hear that word, I feel really stuck. And when you're stuck for a long time and you can't get out of it yourself, you start to realize that your stuckness, like you're intelligent, you're bright, so if there was a logical way to get unstuck, you would have done it. And when you've been unstuck for a while, you've tried a lot of those things. And so when people realize they can't get themselves out and they need help, that's when they reach to me. But what they sometimes don't realize is the answer is inside of them. They're just looking in the wrong place.
So you help them find the place where they should be looking.
Exactly. So they do all the it's marvelous. Lazy approach to coaching, because they're going to do all the work. They're going to come up with the answer, the solution. Because what I do with my sister, that style of coaching where you tell people what to do, the advice solicited or otherwise, it's not very empowering for someone, is it?
No.
You say, I've got imposter syndrome. I say, well, what you need to do is dun, 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 First of all, if you're anything like me, you're probably kind of going, I don't really want to do that, because what's the fun in somebody telling you what to do? Some people don't mind it too much. Other people, though, they don't want to be told what to do. But then at the end of it, if you do just everything that somebody else told you, you don't get to carry any of the feelings of achievement.
That's right.
And
confidence
so
building.
Exactly. You don't build your confidence through having done it yourself. You don't feel like, I did that.
Yeah.
So my aim with the people is to, anyone I coach is to empower them so they feel like they are the ones who've got the result. I might have been the catalyst for change. I might have been there helping them see things differently, but they are the one who can actually say, I did that. Look at me go. Gosh, I'm good. Wow.
And is it all across all ages? I mean, we find that the majority of people listening to us are over 40, over 50. And
there are people.
There are people. And also, I suppose that's relevant because certainly on the female side, because we have men and women that listen to us, but certainly on the female side, this came up because I started losing a bit of confidence in my horse riding. And I had numerous people say to me, are you perimenopause? Because perimenopause makes you more anxious. And at that point I wasn't sure. And, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. And so that's led us to start talking about the lack of confidence that some people have as they do start to get older in various. Is that a theme that you find? Like, is it people, women largely, that are coming to you, or is it?
You'd be amazed how many men come to me as well. Yeah, I coach men and women. I think from my martial arts background, you can imagine when I started martial arts, it was men mostly. I took a lot of girls who were at the time with me, sort of bumped up the clubs a bit, but it was a very male environment, so I got really comfortable very early on working with men and so on, and so I always enjoy my men very much. I enjoy my women too, but some people specialize. I'm a women's coach, and I just deal with women, and they get very kind of unicorns and rainbows and things. Whereas I'm a bit more kind of kick-assy.
Across the board.
Let's get rid of the excuses and let's get down to what's really going on here. I don't really do the very soft stuff. And so I think that does appeal to a lot of men, and it appeals to a lot of women as well, who they're achievers. They want to do things, and all of a sudden they're like, whoa, wait a minute, what is going on? And I think you're right. I think that perimenopause thing can hit a lot of women hard. I think, though, that also there's such a message out there that when you go through menopause, you're going to be emotional wreck, you're going to lose you. And I don't think it's true. I think there's plenty of women who go through that time of their life and they actually find themselves feeling quite empowered at the end of it, But yes, for some women, all of a sudden you do start questioning yourself, and that's part of that aging process with the young people coming through.
It could also be that you have two young kids and you jump on the back of a rather large horse that takes you quite fast over things, and sometimes that shit is scary. You gotta be pretty brave to do what you do. And just as a sidebar, there's a bit of
it is a bit scary.
There's moments in those
scary at times.
There's moments where like, we're awesome, oh my god, what am I doing? I hate this. What am I doing?
And I think physically you don't want to get hurt. Like I don't
want to get hurt.
It's like I mountain bike, and my mountain bike.
You were a mountain biker,
logs that I would have gone over before. Now I'm like, I'm just going to get off a walk. Because it takes longer than anything else. Physically, it takes longer. And unfortunately for women, osteoporosis is a very unfair thing. I don't know what evolution's done to us to burden us with this thing that means that all of a sudden our bones do become more fragile and frail. And how unfair is that evolution? I don't know what it's thinking.
We could talk about quite a few unfair things when it comes to women, let's be honest.
But so that does make us sometimes more cautious. I think, when we do things. And so it's a case of kind of realizing that often the caution is not a confidence thing. it's actually a sensible thing.
It's life preservation.
It is. You can't do what your kids do because they just throw themselves. Yes. My kid riding a bike, learning that for the first time, and you know, just falling off and jumping back. I'm fine. Jumping back on, and you know. Yes. And I was like that when I was younger. You know, in fact, I don't know what it's like with horse riding, but with mountain biking, when I was sort of learning in my 20s, if you fell off. In fact, if you didn't fall off, it was not a good ride. You get the end of the ride. It was only a good ride if you'd fallen off.
Yeah, because you'd taken risks.
You challenged yourself. You know, now it's a good ride if you stay on.
We're absolutely the opposite of that. So we would not think it a success if we fell off.
You've gone further to fall off a horse, haven't you?
Quite far to fall, particularly on her horse. He's a big guy. It is. Then I think in terms of change or evolution or, growth at particularly probably in your 40s and 50s where you might be looking at different career opportunities or starting new businesses or whatever, I feel like there's a lot of procrastination that occurs. And I know this from a number of people and myself. And where does that sit? Like what's the kicker behind procrastination? Why do we procrastinate on big things? We know what we want to do, but why? Why don't we do that?
Great question.
It is a good question. Do you want the full comprehensive how the brain works answer to
that
one?
Yes. Tell us how not to procrastinate.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'll tell you why it happens, because when you understand why something happens, sometimes that's enough to allow you to think differently.
To kick you out of it.
Okay, the brain is so complicated, isn't it? I mean, it's even, the scientists don't truly understand all the workings of the brain. So I think also life is complicated enough. So what I'll do is I'm going to simplify the brain, right? Front and back. Real simple, right? Yep. So at the back of your brain, you've got what some people call the hindbrain, like the hind of a horse or the hind of a dog, right? So you're the hindbrain. And it's got this incredibly important job. It needs to keep you alive. All right? That's what it has to do. It's got other jobs, but let's just focus on that one. We've got to keep you alive. And so it's an interesting, the way it works. It hasn't got words. It's not like your prefrontal cortex. It hasn't got logic. It can't weigh up pros and cons or anything like that. All it does is it looks for patterns. And if a pattern is familiar, it must be safe. If it's unfamiliar, it could be dangerous. Which makes sense, doesn't it? If you go back to when we, lived in a cave, for example, when you got up in the morning and you walked out your cave, and if there was a movement in the bushes, your hindbrain will go, movement, bushes, ooh, that's not familiar, that's different, might kill me. Better be cautious, all right? So your hindbrain, it's there to keep you alive. It's there spotting patterns. And so, people talk a lot about comfort zone, don't they?
Yeah.
So a comfort zone is a familiar pattern, isn't it? Yep. Right? Yep. So if there's something you've been doing for a long time,
you know how it works. It is a familiar pattern.
It's a familiar pattern. Yeah. And so if you suddenly try and change that, your hindbrain goes, whoa, wait a minute, danger, alarm bells ring, because that could kill you. As far as it's concerned.
This is amazing.
It makes so much sense.
It makes so much sense.
Yeah.
So you can you train your brain not to, you don't want to train your brain out of protecting yourself, obviously, but can you train yourself to think differently, or do you just have to recognize what you've just said, which makes perfect sense, and when you do procrastinate, I don't know, how do you
consciously push through?
Push forward?
Yeah, it's a great question, isn't it? And sometimes it's recognizing to yourself that you are safe and it's okay to make the change. Because what the hindbrain will do, it's so clever, because it will try and stop you in all these different ways. So first it might come up with excuses, like, it's a busy week this week, so maybe I'll do it next week. So it'll come up with all sorts of excuses. And if the excuses don't work, it'll start to come up with emotions. I'm a bit nervous, or I'm feeling, it'll give you anxiety or overwhelm or things like that. So it's really clever, because it will throw anything at you it can to stop you, right? To stop you from changing this, to keep you safe. Yeah. So when it's doing that, I think it's about getting on top of the feelings and the emotions, so that you're not hooking onto those and running with them. It's noticing those excuses. I used to have I used to teach, I still do sometimes, but teach in corporates, here's how to eliminate excuses, here are the steps to go through when you do that. But the first thing is knowing you're safe.
Yeah.
And sometimes when it's a little thing, it's as simple as distraction. Now, are you both mums?
Yes.
Are you both mums?
Yes.
You know, with the kids, when they're little and something happens, right, and they're crying or they're like upset, and you go, oh, look, what a pretty bird. And
Yes,
you do this
yes.
wonderful distraction.
Yeah,
Oh, look
yeah.
at that over there, right? It's a distraction. And they kind of go, and they're really upset. They go, oh,
Yeah.
and all of a
Yeah.
sudden, you can do that with yourself.
Find the butterfly.
You
Find
can
the
find
butterfly.
the butterfly. You literally can distract yourself.
Can you give us an example?
Yeah. So sometimes, for example, if I was doing something and I might start feeling, say I was washing up. Heaven forbid we what dishwasher, but let's pretend I was washing up.
Washing up. Your poor hands. Your sore hands.
Quick rinse. I've got my marigolds at no. So I'm doing some washing up, and then all of a sudden this thought came through. You know, this fear about something that I was going to do, and it's it's there trying to stop me from doing that thing that I've made my decision that I'm going to do, but it's not the day to do it yet. And so it comes in and it's trying to sabotage that. Maybe I've decided to leave my job.
Yeah.
Just resign from my role. So it's going to come in because it doesn't want me to resign because I've been going to that job for how many years?
It's not safe.
Yeah, it's not safe, is it? That would be a new pants. It's got to keep me in that. It doesn't care if I'm not happy. It doesn't care if I'm miserable. It doesn't care if I'm under challenged or overworked. It doesn't care. It just wants to keep me where it knows I'm safe. And so if those thoughts come in, I want to block the thoughts. And the quickest way to do them is to place my attention on something. So I might say, well, I often think of them like this part of my brain, it's not an enemy. It's trying to keep me alive. It's like that best friend. You're the best friend who gives you that advice, and it's rubbish.
Yeah.
You're not going to take it, but you don't want to be rude.
Yeah.
You don't say, like, a load of garbage. What sort of friend are you? Right? You're so nice. You go, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Just thank you, don't you? And then
Yeah.
that's very kind of you. Thank you. And then just ignore it.
Yeah.
Put it on the shelf and ignore
Yeah.
it. And so this is what you do with your brain. You just say, thanks, mind. Right?
Yeah.
So you just thank it. So don't get in a fight.
Yeah.
Just trying to help you. Thank you. But right now I'm washing up. And then you might be quite mindful with your washing up. You might put your attention on the washing up, And so right now I'm washing up and I'm actually feeling these soap suds. It's actually quite fascinating to feel what they're like under my fingers. In fact, I haven't really done that before. And I'm noticing actually as I wash the cup, it's almost like I can feel the dirt coming off it. That's really strange. I can't believe, can you actually feel dirt on a cup? I wonder. Let's see. What about the texture? Is the texture different on the exactly? And you can just play with yourself for ages. And it's quite a nice thing to do because it's it's part of this mindfulness idea, isn't it? That when you're just totally in the moment, like you are when you're in the horse, right? When you're on a horse, right? You're not thinking about, shall I cook for dinner tonight? You're really in the moment. And I think of that as what I call moving meditation. Yeah, if you're on a horse, you're in moving meditation. A lot of people say you have to sit down to meditate. You've got to close your eyes. For me, a bit ADHD. Can you tell?
We've both got ADHD.
There you go, children, right. So like for me, you just sit down.
No, it's always nightmare. It's torture.
Absolute torture, right? But if you say, Fiona, just go ride your mountain bike, go on something a little bit challenging, great. I'm there.
Yeah.
It's moving meditation. And so really, some people call that mindfulness with the cup. I might think of it as a washing up meditation in terms of, but all of this really is a total focus. And it stops those thoughts because they've come and they've gone. And of course, the more you practice that, the more it becomes a familiar pattern. And the more your hindbrain, as you do it, goes, oh, yeah, okay, cool. I know this one. It's where I give her something and she just ignores it. So it's safe. She always does this. Every time I try and fluster her, she does this. So actually, this must be keeping me alive. This must be a really good thing.
Right.
So then do you stop then... I hope this isn't a stupid question, but do you stop procrastinating then? Is that then a conscious thought too? Because the way that I'm sort of thinking about that is, yes, okay, so I've kind of almost tricked my mind or changed the way that I'm thinking about something. It's not so scary. Is that actually going to make me do it? Or is there still going to be something there that's stopping me from actually doing whatever it is?
Yeah. And it's a really good question because sometimes it's enough, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's enough. That's all you needed. It's like, I'm just being silly. Of course I can la 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 and off you go. So sometimes it's enough. Other times there's something deep down inside. There's something, what we call the root cause of the problem. There's something deep down at the bottom of it. And it's a little bit like tree, isn't it? You know, with a tree, you've got roots under the ground, you've got a trunk, you've got branches, you've got leaves, you know. And sometimes things like procrastination are the leaves. You know, they're the very outside of the tree. But actually, if you dig down, go right down to the roots, there's something else happening. And the roots are so strong that it doesn't matter how many of the leaves you try and cut off the tree, how many branches you prune, it doesn't make a difference, because that core issue is still there. It's still there. And that is where coaching comes in. You know, when you do all the sensible stuff and you've listened to all the podcasts and you've read all the books and you've followed all the advice, and yet still you still can't do it. There's still this fear, something blocking you. That is when it really helps to have somebody work with you who can actually work not in that conscious part of your mind, that logical part, because all those tools you were given are very logical, but somebody actually dig into the unconscious mind and get to what's really going on.
There's a lot of psychology in all of that, though, isn't there?
Is.
Like, you really, working through. I'm sure you have tears and people be quite emotional.
I thought you meant me.
Well, maybe you do too. Maybe you take it all really deep.
I'm so sorry for him.
Yeah, but imagine, like, if you sort of get into those root causes, it could be quite an emotional part of what you're doing, right? Because it's not just like, once I wanted a purple lolly and I got a pink one, and that's the reason why I'm procrastinating. Like, it's not going to be that. It's probably
well,
going
it
to
can be. Can you believe it or not? It literally can be that, and something way back in the past that's as innocuous as that, or which is an absolute tragedy for a young person, and which they interpret into, I'm not allowed to have what I want in life.
Oh my God!
If I ask for what I want, I won't get it. Somebody else will get it. So I must never ask for what I want. I must just hope that I'm given it. So you can see, right, that out of something as innocuous as I asked for a purple and I got a pink or whatever it is, that you can form this idea of the world in your little brain as a kid, and then that becomes
your God, what have I messed up with my children?
Oh, no.
You just go, what? Did I give them the purple lolly? Did they believe?
Did I say they could have the purple lolly? How do you get there? How do you get there? Like, say you've got somebody that you're coaching, and obviously the first steps have not worked, and so now you're trying to find the root cause of the problem. As a coach, how do you get there?
Oh, okay. So there's two approaches, I think, in the coaching world. One is a kind of paint by numbers, quite a slow approach. You have a lot of sessions, weekly or fortnightly, and you work bit by bit, and you maybe give the client 50 minutes or something, and quite a bit of time in the session is spent with, what have you been doing and why didn't you do the actions we said? And a little bit of coaching, and then right, what are you going to do over the next week? And that's one form of coaching. It's quite popular, or rather, it's very common out there, and it's what a lot of people learn, and quite often there's some scripts in there, so if somebody comes up with an issue, there's sort of a script or a formula or a tool that you can follow. But the trouble with that is it kind of implies that your reason for example, lacking confidence to do something is the same as yours. And therefore, if I use this tool, it's going to work for everybody. But as we know,
it's not the case.
It's not the case, right? They might present with what seems like a problem. 10 people in a row may say, I've got low confidence, but actually it means a completely different thing to each of those people. And the reason it's there is completely different for each one. So I realized a number of things as I was coaching people on these sort of more extended programs. And one of the things was a lot of people I coach are quite high flyers, or they're people who want to achieve, they don't want to waste time, or they're ADHD. So the thought of going to coaching every single week is like, I've got better things to do. It is, right? Yeah. And so I thought, well, look, there's got to be a way that I can get to the heart of what's going on and help them unlock that quickly without having to use any scripts or anything. And there's got to be a way that I can do it quicker, like maybe just in one session, maybe 2, 3 at the most. So that's what I started looking around for, and I found 2 different things. One is the word hypnosis, but it's conversational hypnosis. So it's not hypnosis with script, close your eyes, you're going down a path, your limbs are getting heavy, and then they've got their eyes closed. You script, you go right, you are strong and confident, whatever. It's not like that. It's literally a conversation that accesses the unconscious mind. So it just helps people go more deeply in their thinking. So that was one thing. I thought, this is good. And then the other side to it was
I've heard hypnosis before.
Did it work?
Yeah, it was it was actually incredible. I had it sidebar, But yeah, I had it for my fear of needles. I was very, very terrified of needles as I was about to get pregnant. And, you have to have lots of needles. And it turned out, it was very interesting. It turned out that I had meningitis as a child at 4 years old, and I didn't have a memory of this, but I'd had a lumbar puncture, where they go into the spine and draw the spinal fluid. And it was very traumatic. My mum was standing outside. She wasn't allowed to be with me. They were holding me down. I was screaming. This all played out in front of my mind. And I called my mum afterwards. I said, is this how it went down? Because this memory sort of came up, and we watched it, they made me watch it back and forward in reverse and all black and white and fast and, all this stuff under this sort of deep, whatever, hypnotic state. Yeah. And she said, yeah, that's exactly what happened. Yeah. And it really, really helped me. Yeah. I think maybe just the awareness of that's where the fear came from, because I never knew why I'd get into a cold sweat.
And then you can deal with it.
And then I had 2 Seizures and wasn't bothered about the needle in my spine. So, it's actually, because there's something deep seated in your brain that you're not dealing with or aware of. Yeah. So, yes.
Yeah,
so that's really an interesting one. But
people think it's frightening because they think that I know you're going to be made to close your eyes and go really deep, and they're going to tell you what to do and things like that. No. But no true professional is going to manipulate you in that way.
Yeah, so all those game ones, right? The clucking like a chicken and all that. Exactly. But it's actually an exceptionally relaxing state to be in. Because it's like you can actually switch off your conscious mind.
Yeah. People afterwards are like, oh, I feel so much lighter.
Yeah.
How do you do it? Do you do it just through talking? Or?
I do through talking. So I think my approach is quite unusual, because with a lot of clients, they never close their eyes. Like, it's not a necessary thing. Yeah. And some people put off hypnosis because they don't want to close their eyes. Yeah. Like, that really puts them off. It's like, I've got to sit in front of somebody I don't know and close my eyes. Like, oh, what are they going to do? What are they going to be doing? Well, I've got it freaks some people out. So many of my clients do not need to close their eyes. If they want to close them, fine, they can close them. But I'm not sitting there going, close your eyes. So it is just a conversation. It just takes them to a deeper place where they can think more deeply, more, and often things do come up. Little memories will come up. They go, oh, I don't know where this has come from, but I've just Sometimes the memory can seem innocuous or whatever, but then it just happens to be the one thing that they need to sort out.
Wow.
So there you go. And as part of the process, you mentioned earlier, crying and things. Sometimes people do. I mean, it's very common. It's very common, actually, for me to have people cry with me. It's something I deal with all the time. Men, women, it doesn't, it's no more common amongst one than another, particularly perhaps women a bit more. But lots of men have sort of cried as well. It's not an essential part. Some people laugh. Some people spend the whole session laughing. Oh, how could I be so silly? I never thought of it like that. Everyone's so different, in the way that they heal themselves.
I laugh when I'm in pain.
Oh, me too. Do you?
Yeah.
Bizarre, isn't it?
Bizarre?
It's a thing.
Yeah,
it is
a thing.
Okay,
because I always thought I was really strange, but
well, you are. It's a strange thing.
But let's be honest,
it is a thing. Yeah, I'm the same.
Is it hysteria, maybe?
No, it's just a thing. It is just how some of us cope with it, and it works really, really, really well. If we're not laughing, then it's
bad.
It's 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Throwing up pain, right?
Yes, that's right. Yes. So you hypnosis was, or that form of it is the one part, and then you said there was a second way you
remember. She's very good. She's very good. She's
a bit strange, but she's
fabulous.
She may be old, but she remembers.
She's
short-term memories.
The other part, completely forgot. I'm joking. So the other thing I realised is the problem with traditional sessions is that they're limited by time. So you get to this point, you have to say, I'm so sorry, Melissa, I'm so sorry. We have to finish it there for today. And I, having been myself in therapy in the past, what a surprise, I remember, one time finally after, it felt like months, it probably was months and months of working on whatever the issue was, finally I felt like, I was just about to get there, that little nugget of gold, the answer, I was about to get it,
the breakthrough.
Finally dug down deep enough, the breakthrough. And she literally went, I'm so sorry, Fiona, but we have to leave it there for this week, and I walked out and I thought, what was the point in that? I felt really disappointed, and I knew that it wasn't like I was going to go back in the next session and start where I finished off. It was almost like the unconscious went, well, I was going to give you this beautiful nugget of gold, but you didn't want it. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bury it even deeper. It's going to take you twice as long to get it.
Excellent. How you want to spend your money.
I know. It's a great money maker, isn't it, for them? And so I thought, well, what would happen if with my clients, instead of saying you've got X amount of time, saying, look, I'm going to book out my morning, I'm going to book out my afternoon. Let's go for as long as we need.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So I call it an unbinded session, right? It's just as long as it needs to be. And the amazing thing was some people literally just needed maybe 67 minutes. They just needed a little bit more. Some might have needed 98 or 132 or 211. It doesn't matter how many minutes they need, because my phone is off. It's on, I often take my watch off. I'm just there. I've got no other clients booked in. So there's no rush.
So there's no time constraint. There's no mental like, oh, this am I taking up too much of your time? Are we going over all those things that will clog the mind up?
Exactly. Maybe I shouldn't say this bit, because if I do that, we won't get to talk about the thing I want to talk about. There's none of that.
Yeah, that's excellent.
So that frees people up. They can talk about whatever comes to their mind. And I found that the best way to be coached is just to speak what comes to your mind, because that's often, things come to you and you're like, that's weird, should I say it? Yes, you should just say it, whatever it is. It's your subconscious is throwing that at you for a reason, and if you can share that with your coach and they know how to work with that, they can pick up on that in the moment, and you can get results so much faster.
It's amazing.
How do you know when you found the answer?
Oh, like the Holy Grail.
If I came to you and I said, I'm having this problem, say, procrastinating to, keep the same vein going through, or I really want to regain my confidence because I feel like as I'm getting older, I'm not as confident. I don't want to speak up as much and anything. And so we do that first exercise and then nothing comes of it. And you do the second exercise and is something coming? I'm not sure. How do you know, like, does somebody go, oh, that's it? Or do they leave and then come back and go, oh, we found it because I'm feeling differently? Like, how do you know?
Oh, that's such a good question. That's such a good question. So I think that we got binging and bonging.
Sorry, if anyone heard that little bing and bong.
It's like pay attention. This is important. This is the key. This is the key. So what I think of is a coaching session should be the catalyst for change. It shouldn't be the entire change. So if you think of, some of the traditional motivation things that you go to, you might go to a motivation week or a day or something, you come out and you're like, oh, I feel so motivated, but a week later you're back to normal because it doesn't last. So you don't want your coaching to be like that. You're, oh, this is amazing. And then you go off it. What you want is the session to be the very beginning, to spark things in you, to get you looking at things from a different perspective, seeing things in a new way. Because once you start with that new perspective, you can't help then but to go out in life and see all sorts of things in a new way. And as you do that, you start making decisions, and more importantly, you start taking action. And sometimes they work and sometimes they don't, but you don't seem to mind because you just try something else because you're happy you're doing things. And then in the days and the weeks and the months that follow, things change for you. You learn, you grow, and you feel more and more empowered. So for me, the best coaching session is not the one where somebody has massive epiphanies in the session and go, that's it, it's all gone, I've changed my life, done. End, clap hands together, rub them together, all done, nothing more to do. It's where people come out and they say, oh, I'm feeling lighter. I feel something's shifting. I'm pretty excited to see what happens from here. And then I always catch up with people after maybe 4-6 weeks and to celebrate, let's celebrate how well you're doing. And that's where they get to, share their experience and how quickly or slowly in some cases the changes came and what they're noticing and the momentum that they're growing. So it's a very different approach.
And what does success look like for you as a coach?
Success is when a client says, I don't need you anymore. And my aim, I always say to them, in the nicest possible way, my aim is to get rid of you as quickly as possible. That's it, right? Because, the people who come to me, they don't want to be stuck in therapy for the rest of their lives. And some American things, my therapist, this and that. They want to sort the thing out and move on. So that's success for me, is when they feel that they don't need me again. And many people after one session, they're like, I'm good. I'm good. It's all changing. I've got this. I've got this. And that's what I want to hear is like, I've got this. I'm okay. I can do this.
I think we all need a bit of Fiona in our life.
I think we all need some Fiona.
I'm going to take some Fiona.
Well, so if you were gonna sort of, leave our listeners with, a piece of advice? I mean, because this is bigger than just confidence, isn't it? It's not just how can I find more confidence. It can relate to any situation. How can I change my mindset to be better so that I'm better, I'm stronger, or whatever it is that I want.
Or become unstuck or whatever.
Yeah. So what sort of advice would you give our listeners? Like, where would you, aside from coming to chat to you, of course.
That's right.
Which will, of course, will link your
Yeah,
information.
Yeah.
Sure
Thank
many
you.
people will
The
want
website, the Fiona Spence website.
Yeah,
plug. So I think the first thing with any issue is to recognize it. Like that's number one, isn't it? To recognize you have an issue. But then really importantly, the next step is to actually own it. There's one thing to recognize something like, people go, I really should lose weight, or I really should stop eating chocolate. Well, that's lovely to recognize it. Yeah. But it doesn't mean anything if you don't own it.
Yeah.
So you need to own it and then make a decision to do something about it. Yeah. But life doesn't reward decisions, because how many people have made a decision? You hear friends go, oh, I've decided I'm going to write a book, they say. And then a year later, how's your book coming on? Yeah. Oh, yes, I'm going to write that book. So then it's to take action. And I found often the smallest things, the smallest change, the smallest action can have a really, really big impact. So you don't have to do big, massive things, but just find something small that you can do, something small you can change. So if they've kind of got to that stage of change through coaching, then they get all the other things changing as well. If it's, you on your own in life, and you're just struggling to write the book because you've been meaning to write the book for, ages, think of the smallest little thing you can do. And you think, okay, I've been meaning to write the book. You know what? I'm going to open up my computer. I'm going to open up whatever you use, Word, and I'm going to save a document. And I don't have a title book, so I'm going to call it my book.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Then you've done something now. When you see your friend, they go, how's your book coming? You go, oh, well, I now have a Word document for my book. Oh, surely good. You've got started. You know what I have. And you know what I did that night is I thought, well, I got a Word document. It's so stupid having my book. So you know what I gave it a title, right?
Yeah.
And then on it goes.
Baby steps.
So little steps.
I love that.
Yeah.
We certainly didn't procrastinate starting the podcast. I think we gave it about a week's thought.
Yeah, we did. And then it was like, well, should we plan? No, let's just do it.
Let's just do it. And then look what happened. We how many of episodes in and kicking along well.
Loving it.
Yeah.
Loving it. Fiona, thank you so much for coming to chat to us today. I feel like we've learned so much.
Yeah, me too. And like I said before, I think everyone needs a bit of Fiona in their lives.
I think everybody does need a bit.
Really insightful. And I really like the way you explain things too. Just very simplistic in the explanations, but enriched with a lot of good information, really able to break it down really well.
Oh, thank you for having me. Yeah. And if anyone does want to know about me, my website is my name, so it's fionaspence.com.au.
And are you on socials as well?
I am, LinkedIn under my name, Fiona Spence. What a surprise. On Instagram, I'm under No Excuses. I think I'm Fiona Spence _ No Excuses. I think I'm there. What else have we got? And I'm on TikTok as well. So I'm on,
Excellent. And do you do sessions in person and online?
I do them all online, actually. I've always coached online. I get better results. Because, when you're being coached from, maybe you're at home or something like that, and it's just more personal, because, and it feels more intimate, and because you're in your own space, you feel safe. You're in, and you don't have to dress up.
If I don't like you, I can hang up on you.
Oh my God,
I hope that's never happened to me.
It is. It's like there's something comforting about being at home, and you know where everything is, and you don't. And the other thing is, like, quite often the way I coach is people can be a bit spacey afterwards, so I don't want to have to get in a car and driving.
Good idea.
I think it's fabulous.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, thank you so much, and thanks for popping in. It's so nice to have people in person as well.
I wanted to meet you guys. I was so excited to meet you. I'm hoping to see the horses if they appear.
We can go to a walk. We'll take Fiona for a little walk.
That'd be so good.
Lovely.
Amazing.
Well, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
And thanks, everyone.
Thank you. See you next week.